In this video, I want to show you one easy trick that you can use to help you sort out your World Cup 2018 Russia bracket problems, predicaments. I know some of you have looked at the bracket ever since the draw came out in December 1st, and some of you have been mind-boggled about all the different combinations of teams advancing and all the different permutations and all that stuff. It's hard, especially in modern football with so many good teams and other decent teams that are capable of springing upsets. It's difficult. Case in point, in another sport in the U.S., March Madness basketball. A lot of people's brackets were ruined when the 16th seed of some college, I don't know, beat the number 1 seed. It ruined a lot of people's brackets in that regard. But here, I want to give a little a tip that I've noticed after going through all of this hardship myself, of looking at all the different possible combinations of a World Cup bracket, to help you get a little closer to deciphering a couple of the semifinalists so that your bracket is not totally destroyed. And here's this one trick. Realize that on each side of the bracket, the two sides from Group A to Group D, that's side 1. Side 2, from E to H, we are guaranteed to have 2 semifinalists from each side. That means, and I know that a lot of you already know this, but a lot of people also don't. And I've seen World Cup prediction videos where they get the bracket entirely wrong. Like, for example, the winner of Group A playing the runner-up of Group B. Seems common sense, right? But then when some people give their quarterfinal predictions, they have the 2 winners of the winners of Group A versus runner-up of Group B, and the winner of Group B versus runner-up of Group A. They have the 2 winners of that meeting again. And it's no. This is not Euro 2008. The winner of Group C, the winner of Group A plays the runner-up of Group B, and the winner of that plays the winner of Group C or the runner-up of Group D. But anyway, I don't want to get off topic. Just to give you an example of how some people mess it up. So the next time you're looking at your bracket and you see, let's say you see a tournament where Argentina, Germany, Brazil, and Spain are all in one side of the bracket. Let's say those 4 teams I just named, let's say they're in groups A through D or E through H. You may be tempted to go with them to reach the semifinals, but because of the structure of the bracket, only 2 of them can. Only 2 of them can. So, and it helps you because to break up the World Cup bracket into halves, into 2 halves, it helps you because you get to analyze it in pieces instead of as a whole. So you look at the upper bracket from groups A through D, 2 teams of those 16 teams from A through D have to go to the semifinals because everyone plays each other, even in the knockout rounds, on the same side of the bracket at least until the semifinals. Even when you get to a quarterfinal, you're playing somebody on the same side of your bracket. It's not until the semis that you play someone from the other side of the bracket. Now, the only point where the same side of the bracket can converge again is in the final, if both teams from the same side of the bracket make it, like Germany and Argentina in 2014, Spain and the Netherlands in 2010, France and Italy in 2006. Every World Cup finalist since 2006 has come from the second half of the bracket between E and H. But anyway, so having said that, let's look. I'm going to go a step further. Let's do a very, very brief analysis because I don't want the video to get too long. But let's take a look at groups A through D. Okay? So Group A, I memorized this by now, is Russia, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, and Uruguay. Group B is Portugal, Spain, Morocco, and Iran. Group C is France, Australia, Peru, and Denmark. And Group D is Argentina, Iceland, Croatia, and Nigeria. Now, a lot of good teams. Upsets can happen, and history would suggest that it may just happen. Now, barring any upsets, you can look at these 16 teams and pick which two, not from each group, two on just that side of the whole bracket, are the strongest teams. Which two are the strongest teams and therefore the most likely to get to the semifinals? Using this one trick can help your bracket immensely. Now, the tricky part is accounting for upsets. Morocco can steal a spot over Portugal, maybe even Iran. Maybe Egypt, Saudi Arabia can do something. Peru and Denmark can upset France. They who must not be named, in my opinion, is not advancing from their group. So you have to take a bunch of this stuff into account. So the strongest team in Group A is Uruguay. I think we can agree. The strongest team in Group B, some of you might say Portugal, but I think the majority, my intuition tells me that most of you will say Spain. Okay? Group C, the strongest team is France. We can agree on that. And Group D, despite their terrible form, it is they who must not be named. 4. But for sake of argument, let's add a couple of more teams to this list. Let's add Portugal, because they are capable of winning their group. And they are better than most of the other teams that I did not mention, right? And let's account for an upset somewhere. Let's say either Group C or D. Let's say Peru or maybe Nigeria. So you have 6 or 7 teams. Just right there, you've taken 16 teams on that side of the bracket, and you've narrowed it down to 6 or 7. And 2 of those 6 or 7 most likely will get into the semifinals. So that's a trick that I use. I divide the bracket up into half. Make note of the reality that 2 teams from both halves must be in the semifinals, because that's just the way it is. And then you go from there. You narrow it down further. Very quickly, the second half of the bracket. Brazil, Germany, Belgium. I have to put England in there because England is still a big name no matter what. And then Poland, Colombia. That's another 6 teams. It's another 6 teams that are arguably the strongest on that side of the bracket. Most likely, 2 of them are going to the semis. Again, there's a big caveat. You have to adjust for upsets, right? But there are not going to be very many upsets once the semifinals roll around. You're not going to have a semifinal of Russia versus Australia and Panama versus Japan, unless this is a really nutty World Cup. It would have to be very nutty. So there you go. That's one of the tricks that I use. I hope it helps you. Hopefully I see you later today, God willing. Until then, have a good one. Much love and peace.